Now, recently we've been checking in on Darren Grimes, a friend of the show, Darren Grimes, and we've been seeing how he's flourishing now that he's left the vice-tight restrictions of GB News behind him.
I'm assuming that the audio is coming through this little microphone here. So if I step over to here, which should follow me, then you can still hear me.
I mean, I have to say, seeing how well he's doing, getting all those people to pay $5.99 a month to watch him saunter around his living room.
Then you can still hear me, potentially.
Doing a sound check in real time. I mean, it makes me feel pretty stupid, guys, if I'm honest, for putting in all the prep and effort that I do. You know, when this whole time I could have just shopped you a B-reel of me doing my vocal warm-ups.
Bumblebee, 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 bumblebee. God, why does my throat feel like I've been gargling my dad's bathwater?
But this time, for this video, I thought it might be interesting to check in on how his partner in crime is doing.
No spin and no bias and no censorship.
And I say partner in crime just as an expression, just as a turn of phrase, not as a reflection of either of their experiences in the legal system. Although, just as an aside, both are the proud recipients of hugely problematic allegations having been levied at them, at which I'm sure they both would have published firm denials of any wrongdoing. But yes, Grimesy's partner in crime, so to speak. Grimes' fellow forgotten free speech former GB News, now totes independent, gay but conservative chum, Dan Wootton.
GB News presenter Dan Wootton has been suspended.
Announcing that they are suspending Dan Wootton.
I do also note that there are dark forces.
Because for those of you with shorter memories, Wootton was also at GB News.
No spin and no bias and no censorship.
Then he was suspended. Now he's an independent journalist on YouTube. So let's see what he's up to now, shall we?
No spin, no bias, no censorship. I'm Dan Wootton. This is Outspoken Live, episode 9.
Like, is it just me, or does
Right now,
Dan Wootton always look like
Rachel from Accounts?
Like, whenever I look at him, I always get a scent. It's like Google have invented smell-o-vision. You know?
£5 a month.
It's like I see Dan Wootton and immediately I smell like 40 Marlboro Lights and fucking dupe. Like how is that not a guy that smells like cigs and dupe?
Breaking right now, the Reform UK Civil War is...
Wait, what the fuck was that?
The Reform UK Civil War is...
Like, slow down, Dan. Did Dan forget to do his vocal warm-ups? Is that what happened?
War is getting even more dirty than yesterday. And that is quite something.
Like, why is he putting so much space in between the words? Why is it like you can speak more quickly than that? People can handle it, even on the right. Dan, no spin,
no spin,
no spin,
no bias,
no bias,
no bias,
no more than 30 words per minute, I promise.
Civil War is getting even more dirty than yesterday, and that is quite something. Let me take you through.
Like, it's considerate, really, isn't it? You're giving your Crayola gargling audience, viewers, time to process the words.
Let me take you through the new developments, which include absolutely furious responses.
Absolutely furious words.
£5 a month.
£5 a month.
I mean, look, guys, it's easy to mock. I'm sure some of you out there are mocking him, but actually, it's inspiring to see this. I think it's cool that somebody that's obviously clearly been in some sort of traumatic road accident is still being entrusted with professional broadcasting. I'm inspired.
Civil War, absolutely furious responses. war grows with Rupert Lowe.
Now, a journalist is not to be judged solely on their public speaking skills. It is also about the content. It's about the quality, the integrity, the investigative chops that they exhibit.
No spin, no bias.
No spin and no bias.
No spin, no bias.
No spin, no bias, no
So I'm sure that given Wootton's commitment at the height of the Byline Times expose to becoming a better journalist,
I think being in the middle of this witch hunt has made me think a lot about the sort of journalist and broadcaster I aspire to be.
I'm sure that will have delivered us some cracking scoops, guys. So let's move on from the public speaking ability, and now let's take a look at some of the stories that he's covering, you know, since he's matured, since he's changed.
I mean, who doesn't have regrets? Should I be cancelled for them many years later? Or do you accept that I have learned and changed? The last few years, I've grown professionally and personally.
Are you all ready? Okay, let's take a look.
Keir Starmer has entered full-on panic mode as sources close to the PM predict a surging Nigel Farage, Labour's disastrous first 100 days, £5 a month.
And changed.
Wokery has a lot to answer for, but you're right, it's a weapon deployed by the left.
It is a cancer. Wokery is a cancer. £5 a month in the troubled marriage of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Troubled marriage of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I deliver.
Oh, God.
We've got Business 101 with the world's worst entrepreneur, Meghan Markle.
She's never done anything.
Rachel from Accounts.
Wokery is a cancer.
Meghan Markle.
And this is no spin, is it? This is no bias. He's changed.
I have learned and changed.
No spin, no bias, no.
Like, honestly, fuck me gently.
I'm Dan Wootton. This is Outspoken Live.
You know, I try to go into these videos, guys, these reaction videos, with the best of intentions. I try to consume their content with my heart in the right place. Such is my commitment to offer you no spin and no bias. But what do I get? What do I get in return? I get this. What's up, guys? Good evening. No spin, no bias, no censorship. I'm Dan Wootton. Coming up on the show this evening. Labour are destroying Britain. Prince Harry's a shit. Meghan's the new Caroline Flack. And why anyone to the left of UKIP is Karl fucking Marx. No spin, no bias. Like, honestly, fuck this Febreze bathing bellend.
£5 a month.
Ms. Markle.
£5 a month.
I have learned
and changed.
And like, look at his videos, man. Look at the title. Look at the images for all of his content here. It's like, that's the first 16 videos. Most recent 16 live streams that he's done. And almost every single one is about Reform or Farage. Reform TV fight. Reeves blasted by Tyson Farage. Reform rally chaos. Reform revolt.
No spin, no bias. No
something is up here, isn't it? Something's up. Like 13 out of his 16 most recent live streams. That's over 80% of his videos are Reform or Farage topics in the titles or the thumbnails or whatever. Which basically means his YouTube channel, his live streams, it's basically like Farage TV, isn't it?
The Reform UK Civil War. Nigel Farage, Reform UK.
Nigel Farage.
It's what's going on with Freeform. What's happening with Rupert Lowe and Nigel Farage? What does Farage make of something that's happening? A disgraceful amount of sewage is being dumped in England's rivers? Farage breaks silence on sewage problem. Disney's Snow White disappoints at the box office? Anderson and Farage melt down over Snow White. Like, honestly, you could be like, oi, Dad, have you seen Meghan's new show on Netflix? And your dad's like, no. You haven't? Well, you're a Reform voter, aren't you? Yeah. What's that got to do with Meghan's Netflix show? Very little. Yeah, but don't worry. you'll find yourself hooked once Dan Wootton runs it through his prism of Nigelic interpretation. What does Nigel think of Meghan, guys? The people, the internet, the algorithms have to know. And Dan Wootton is right here to tell you because it's right up his street. Now that he's changed and he's matured and as he seeks to find ways to bash a woke woman of colour through the conduit of the far right. And we can all just stand back in wonder at the total absence of spin.
No spin, no spin.
Should we watch a bit more of his stuff? Let's take a look. I mean, what even is that set that he's got there? Is that a spare room? Is that like is he doing this from his spare room now? Or like the corner of a pretend shop? Or something. Like you know when the high street dies and there's like 20 just empty shops in the shopping centre or like down the high street, but they can't just leave them looking like dead retail units. So instead they put fake paintings of shops up in the shop windows, you know? Like, is he broadcasting nightly from one of those now? Like, is that what this... Is this how bad things have got for the British high street and for British broadcasting, that the two meet, where suspended news presenters fucking podcast from vacant shop units? It's just decline everywhere these days. Or do you know what? No, it could just be like the downstairs corner of a Premier Inn. Do you think? Like, sure, yeah, maybe it kind of looks like a studio, but then maybe if you pan out a bit, you see it's the ground floor of a travel lodge. There's a travelling salesman, a cheating couple, and a hen party all hitting the evening buffet. Anyway, Wootton is by no means alone, is he? He is but one of many who are now sort of freelancing in their post-GB News career. And honestly, it's such a fascinating little ecosystem that they've built for themselves online now. These ex-GB News exiles, I suppose we could call them. You know, your Darren Grimes, your Dan Wootton, your Laurence Fox, your Calvin Robinson, Mark Dolan, Mark Stein. Like, all of them are the same. All of them have left GB News, and all of them now, or, you know, most of them position themselves now as free speech independent journalists who are providing you content that they couldn't do had they stayed on GB News.
£5 a month.
I would like to offer you to become a reclaimer. It comes with its own certificate.
I need your support like never before.
But it's like just to round off this one, because we are going a little bit over time now. Like, it's sort of fascinating to me because it's like the news is supposed to just tell you what happened. Facts. Reality. Good morning and welcome to Nick Ferrari. An internet idiot has blamed his speeding fine on the deep state and a weaponized Justice Department. And even though there's always going to be some sort of bias of who's presenting the show, or indeed just subject matter, sounds like some sort of self-referential, satirical, wokey, jokey, blokey. Throw 'em to the gulags, I say. You know, there are some stories that are just more, I don't know, right-wing in their nature. Like, if you spend an hour talking about the asylum system or net migration figures, it's kind of right-wing. Equally, if you're going to do an hour-long phone-in about how to fight misogyny or how to resolve the climate crisis, that is more of a left-of-centre issue by its nature and who it might appeal to. Now, if you accept that though broadcasting will try to be neutral, but it may also have a bit of a left-leaning bent or a right-of-centre sensibility, that is where the regulators step in. That is where Ofcom step in and go, okay, look, if you're going to do an hour on opinion about the climate crisis or asylum, you're going to have to make sure you have representatives from both sides of the political divide. You need to get a Remainer on as well as a Brexiter. If you got the head of pharmaceuticals and medicinal research from Oxford University, you also need to have an anti-vax lunatic over here for balance. But where people don't do that, where they don't provide balance, where they don't challenge ideas, and they do subscribe to spin and bias, that is where Ofcom step in and go, what are you doing? Like, if you're going to say anti-science, anti-vax nonsense with no challenge, we are going to fine you quite substantially. And yet, this insurance policy of the regulator to keep things neutral, to fight disinformation, to ensure that something, when it sits outside of like the news of just what happened and the facts, when you do venture into opinion, that you provide panelists from each side, and hopefully the idea is that somewhere within that debate you might arrive at something resembling the truth. But when you stick two fingers up to Ofcom and say, I don't care about that, I just want to be able to say whatever I think.
We address the headlines and the topics that the rest of the mainstream media does not want to touch with a 10-foot barge pole.
Stein versus Ofcom.
Censored by the likes of regulators like Ofcom.
Whether you're a Calvin Robinson saying, you know, we're going to be talking about stuff that the mainstream media wouldn't touch with a barge pole, or you're Darren Grimes voicing your disapproval of Ofcom, or Mark Stein, or like any of them. Like, I don't know, there's just something so endlessly, fascinatingly stupid about the people who stick two fingers up to a truth insurance institution like a regulator so they can run away to the internet because they can't handle the truth, and to then invert that and sell themselves to morons as though they themselves, in all their identikit conveyor belt clones, are somehow the exclusive arbiters of it. It's just... Christ. Fuck them all to Jupiter.
Dark forces.